Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our live webinar of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas. On behalf of Serenade, I want to welcome you today. Today, we're going to have a webinar about organization. So how to organize your practice using eIMMIGRATION, stickler, reminders, and process steps. So thank you for joining us today. As a reminder, this webinar is recorded and you can always watch the video. Well, it's being recorded, it's live. You can always watch the video in our YouTube channel. And you can also message me your questions as we go along. I am going to cover this content. I'm going to show you how to use the tickler, which is a general dashboard, how to customize it and choose to be the first page that you see when you log in, how to create reminders and manage expiration dates, and also how to use the process steps and how to automate things with activities, what are the user-defined documents and how to share that with your clients and create smart alerts. Someone messaged me, good day. Thank you. Good day to you. Thank you for being here. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know and let's get started. I'm going to switch gears. So you should be able to, again, see my screen. If you have questions, let me know. So today, again, we're going to learn how we can organize our firm. Even if you are a solo practitioner or if you, especially if you have a large team, you want to set the foundation and have clear processes so that when you grow, you know where to find things and how to delegate, how to prioritize. And nowadays, we have to multitask and we have to have as many automations as possible to save time. So let's try to, you know, take advantage of the um, features that Serenade is offering through eIMMIGRATION. And the first thing that we're going to talk about today is a tickler. Let me first explain where you find it. On the left-hand side, you click on Tools, and then you go here. This is your tickler. How does this work? Well, first of all, remember you can customize it. You have the option to have your own, layout for different situations. Maybe you want to have one for accounting so that you can see your invoices that are 30, 60, 90 overdue. Or maybe you want to see just, reminders for cases or reminders for clients. So it's divided by cases and clients. Remember that in the system, you have a contact profile. Let me open one. Within a contact profile, you have the option to create reminders and also track documents like passports, I-94s, visas. In order for this to work, when you add a document, you have to make it current. Otherwise, it's not going to show up in the tickler. Okay. And the reminders could also be added at the case level. So when you create a case here, you can create reminders. I'm going to show you today how to create these reminders and how to manage your process steps or deadlines or target dates. So going back to the tickler, in order for this to work, again, you have to start creating your reminders using eIMMIGRATION, add the expiration dates, or if you have billing, this is also going to help you to learn if you have anything 30, 60, 90 overdue. It tells you the name of the person, the invoice number, the amount that's due, etc. So how do I customize a tickler? Well, on the top right corner, you should see the gear icon and click on User Preferences. Here, your user preferences, by the way, can help you automate or, customize a lot of things, such as, what's the default start page? If the first thing that I see when I log in is my tickler or is it my calendar? I just want to go straight to search cases, so you guys can choose what's your default startup page. On the right-hand side, if we click on tickler, this is where we can customize the settings and the layout. I, for example, put -5 because I want to see if I have anything overdue the past 5 days or the next 20 days. But again, you can customize the time frame. You could also customize a type of chart. I like the bar. But you can change whatever options you want. And then the layout, you can remove sections or add sections to your layout. Okay. If I don't want to see this, I can just click remove. If I want to add another section, I can just choose what to, maybe cases per month or case reminders, etc. Again, like I said, the tickler is divided by cases or clients. Now let's go back to the tickler. If I choose my own layout, it's going to show, again, my user layout, or I have different options. And this is only my information, meaning as a caseworker, whatever reminders I'm responsible for, this is where I can see them. Or if I click on the top left where it says show data for all caseworkers, then this becomes like a general dashboard where I actually joke and say this is my helicopter view because this is where I see everything in one place. I see if I've got, for example, a paralegal is out of the office and I can just take over and delegate if I already know that we have to do these tasks on these days. Okay. Now, again, the tickler, for example, let me show you one trick. The tickler will show you if you have anything overdue. But let's say that maybe I'll just show a few. For these reminders that are way overdue, 2024, I am going to select a few at the same time. And then I can say all of these at the same time, just modify them or change the dates. Maybe I can extend it and say, well, we're going to extend these and push them until September 5th. So now the new due date will be that and apply. You don't have to do them one by one. Or maybe I just want to modify this one and say, the due date is going to be September 3rd. And I won't enter a completion date because that means that I finished this. Or again, if this was completed, it was due, I'll just put here, August 12th, and I did this yesterday, but I couldn't mark the completion date yesterday. I can just modify it and save my changes. Okay. All right. And that's again one by one if you modify as you saw, or you can just select multiple reminders and change the dates, either completion dates or due dates. All right. So now how do we create the reminders? As I said, you can create reminders under the contact profile or the case profile. And you just have to go here on the sidebar menu and click on reminders again, and let's add the reminder. This category, I highly, highly suggest that you guys customize it if you haven't done it. To me, it's a waste of time if you just tell me I have a deadline, then I have to figure out what type of deadline, what is this about. So the more specific, the better. Let me show you how to customize the description or type the category of the reminder so that when your staff sees what type of reminder they can prioritize. Okay, so let's close that. You do need to have access to the administrator portal to be able to customize. They can. Okay, let me see if you guys have any questions at this point. I wonder how many of you have access to the admin. Go ahead and click on your screen to vote. Awesome. So the majority of you, let me end this poll. The majority of you have access to the administrator. That's great. Let me close this. Once you get here into the admin, go to types, and then you'll see them right here. Case reminder types or client reminder types. The reason why you have two separate categories is because you may have, let's say, a prospect or a lead who doesn't necessarily have a case established yet. And the type of reminder would be different, like a consultation or follow-up or contract signature pending. And so the case reminder type might be more specific. Biometrics appointment, I don't know, gather the documents or the evidence. So anyway, so you want to create your different categories. So when you create a reminder, again, it doesn't say just I have a task or I have to follow up or a deadline. Be more specific. RFE related. Check with client about my biometrics appointment details. I don't know. So once you get here, you can either click to add the reminder where you just type the reminder category. You could also edit an existing one, insert. And the thing is, if you click add, it's going to add it all the way at the bottom of your list. But if you click insert, then it's going to insert the type of reminder right here between these two. You could also, anytime that you guys see the 6 dots on the left, you can also drag and drop. So that's also helpful. And then, of course, you can delete or move one at a time, which, again, I don't think that makes sense if you can just move, drag and drop. Okay, let's just delete. Did I delete the wrong one? Probably. If that ever happens to you, you can contact us and we can retrieve it. How to customize a type of reminders. Let's go back to the caseworker module. I like to right click and open in a new tab, especially if you guys are new. You're going to need to go back and forth, back and forth. So I might as well just keep them open side by side. Okay. All right. So how do I create a reminder? Did you know that you have a shortcut when you find the client or the case and you click here under the actions column, the select button, it says load more data. So you can go straight to create reminders. I don't see him. Oh, right here. Okay. So I'm going to create a reminder. We'll talk about this pop-up window. So I'm going to create a reminder for this person. And again, the category, which is still loading. Okay, here we go. The category, I'm going to again have my own specific category. Let's say we need to remind the applicant for her visa renewal, and we need to do that by the 29th. But we need to send a notification so they know that this visa has to be renewed. How are we notifying? It could be email, text message, or both. And I'm going to pick maybe a few days before the due date and the times. Serenade is working on releasing an enhancement to this, just so you guys know. It's going to be multiple notifications per reminder. Then I'm going to choose the responsible party. Who's responsible to remind my client about the visa renewal? So I'm just going to be me. And then I can also click on these 3 dots on the right-hand side to select the recipients. I'm going to select the client's phone number and let me click done. And then email. I'll select my email, client's email, done. Okay, now she's going to get a text message and an email on August 26th at 8 a.m. Do not enter completion date because that means that you have done it. That's something that you would enter once you complete the task. Okay. Now, if you're not using letter templates, you're missing out. I suggest that you do. Let me take you back to the admin. In the administrator portal, click on letter templates and create your reminder. To give you an idea, I have one for like an appointment. Like this. It has my logo, it's populating the date, the client's name. And again, instead of me drafting or typing this information every single time, when I need to remind her about this specific situation, like your visa expires soon, blah, blah. Well, I'm just going to pick the template from here. And see, it populated with the date, her name. How do I do that? Excuse me. In the administrative portal, again, when you go to your letter templates and you add the template, you probably already have something in Word or Outlook. So all you need to do is just copy paste. Or someone told me that she uses ChatGPT because this is HTML editor and not your typical Word, Microsoft Word. So it's different behavior. So anyways, once you have the body of the message here, you want to insert these tags. So if I want to insert I don't know. So this is a drop-down menu that has every single tag. If you want to save time, you can also go to the other portal and access your tools. Go to the tag helper. The one that I normally recommend is the individual client, because that way, oops, the individual client doesn't matter if it's the petitioner or the beneficiary, or see, it's alphabetical order. So like I can find, I'm looking for the first name right here. First name for the individual client. So I'm going to click and it's going to insert the tag. This tag, it's kind of like an instruction for the system. It's very similar to when you guys populate forms and you're mapping something and redirecting traffic. That's the way I see it. It's like, I want the first name to go here. So whenever you insert the tag, that's where we populate the first name. And that's why, if you guys notice, now I populated the first name here. All right, so that's how you create the reminder, use a lot of templates, save the reminder, and that's it. Whenever you are done, completing the task, you just edit and enter the completion date and save. Now, did I choose? Oh, let me choose a responsible party. Okay. Now, if you want to, hey, you know what? You need to appear at court. Well, this was like almost 10 years ago. Maybe not a good example. Let me find. If you choose to sort by due date, maybe that works. All right, so let's say again, Alinush has to work on this work permit, and I need to send a text message from here. So you could also send a text message, hey, reminding you. Of course, it's not just for the client, but I could also choose to remind the actual caseworker. So that's also helpful so that you guys can send the reminder from the law firm, hey, we need you to blah, 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 you know. Or email, not just text message. It could also be email. Let me know if you have any questions about the reminders, and we're going to move on. Okay. All right, so now we're going to cover how to manage expiration date. If you go to the contact profile on the right-hand side, under the document section, you're going to find, like I said, your typical documents are, passport, I-94, visas, and then there's a section for user defined. In order for you to manage these expiration dates, you need to add them into the system. You could also upload the actual file. And as a reminder, we have a feature or a setting in the administrative portal under application settings that auto converts any images that you guys upload into PDF. So if you want to save time, I recommend that you turn that on so that we can help you auto convert images to PDFs if you want to upload the passport, let's say. Again, make sure that you enter the expiration date. All of these details transfer to forms. So it's not just for you to track the expiration date, but also for it to populate forms. But it won't work if you don't set that as current. In theory, you can have more than one passport. So that's why, which is the current one, and that's the one we transfer to the forms. Or that's the one that appears in the tickler, okay? The user-defined documents, for example, this drop-down menu that you guys see here can be modified. Let me show you. Okay, so we're gonna click on custom document types. This is the administrator portal. The custom document types, again, you could add a document. We need to track this police certification for the U visa, or I can also modify an existing one. Again, same thing, insert, delete, you can drag and drop, whatever works for you. The idea again is that if you want to track an expiration date or a deadline for anything, you can simply add the type of document and then track that. If it's sometimes not even related to immigration. And we have clients that have to track any other documentation, certifications, or approvals or appointments. So that's why, that's where you can modify the type of documents. Let's go back to the other caseworker portal window. And again, if you choose a type of document, you're going to select the same thing, expiration date. These are not mapped unless, of course, you can customize a form, but these work because you can track, again, the expiration dates. You could also run reports, populate letter templates, things like that. And make sure that you set that as current if you want this to appear in the tickler. Okay? All right, let me know if you have any questions about managing these expiration dates. Another expiration date that you will see on the tickler would be the case, actual case expiration date. So this case expiration date, if I enter, let's say that this case expires next week and we have to renew it, or so once you add that here, the tickler will show that here, case expiration date. Okay, so that's why I recommend that you guys, again, customize the time frame. You don't want to show maybe 30, you want to show either -10 or -5. This is up to you. You can modify your time frames and, like I said, the type of graphs if you go to your settings and modify it. All right, so let me go back to our PowerPoint presentation. By the way, whenever we finish a webinar, we email you as a thank you with the copy of the PowerPoint and the video, okay? You should be getting that in a survey, so please help us respond to the survey. All right, so we talked about these points, and I'm going to now show you process steps, activities, and smart alerts. I already talked about the user-defined documents. So let me switch back. Before I continue, let me see if you guys have any questions at this point. Yes, someone said, I have a question, but it's not related to the subject of today. It's okay. You can send me any type of questions. Doesn't matter. So I'll wait until you send it. In the meantime, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna launch another poll. Here we go. So please let me know if you have any questions at this point. Okay, so let me end this poll. Some of you said I will type my question in the chat message below. So here we go. How to make extractor mapping template. Okay, that's something that you have to create in the admin. Go to extractor mapping templates and then just add it. Passport or US passport, be very specific so that you identify, okay, this is the template that I'm going to be using for the 797 or USCIS receipt for whatever the case is. Where is the access to the admin portal? Well, if you click on the top right corner, there's a gear icon, and then you should see administrative tools. If you don't see this option, it means that you don't have access to the admin portal. So you could also check your subscription details and scroll down, and this is where you see if it says allowed or if it's blocked. Some of these access rights have been blocked from the admin, or some of them are allowed. That's the reason why sometimes you cannot delete something or update or create. It's because you don't have access. So even if you are the administrator, you probably didn't know that you were blocked for some of the features. So that's how you can tell. Next question is there any way for the tickler to show clients with prospect status or cases with pending status? Actually, the tickler doesn't, let me go back. The tickler is for, let me use the default. Okay. Any reminder that you create or expiration date or any user-defined document or even an invoice, it doesn't matter if it's a prospect or an active client. What you want for you to see the prospect status or the pending status on the case or whatever, it's a report. You need to utilize a report, unless, of course, you want to create a reminder about that. This, for example, where it says case expiration date, it doesn't show me more. I can only see the parties, let me make this maybe smaller. No, it doesn't show. Okay, I don't know why the parties are not showing here. But yeah, as you can see, it doesn't show me what the status is for this. It only shows when I updated the case. And what you want is a report. You need to create a report or use the ones we already have. And that way you can say, okay, how many prospects did we create between the first of this month until today? It looks like I've got 5 prospects. Fulano, Ran Cortez, like, so yeah, this is how you can run a report or export to PDF, Excel. That's for prospects. For cases, then you go on the right-hand side, click on cases, for example, show me active cases that are in process, or show me how many cases do we have interrupted or pending with NVC, whatever status you want to create. This is customizable. So if I say, show me any active cases that are in process, what it says right here, filing type, but it could be update or status, but yeah, that's what you need, a report, not necessarily the tickler. Why mailing address doesn't appear in the business client profile while Form I-129 requires mailing address? In the business client profile. Okay, let me quickly go over business. We do have addresses, and it's just showing the headquarters address and the default. Are you sure you have the information in the system? It should populate the I-129. If not, talk to your support team over here on the right. Click on help, go here, technical support, and send that message, that question, so that they can connect to your screen and see what's going on. But if you see, we have information for the branches and for the business. It should populate with this address. Oh, you're welcome. If it's not too much, it's never too much. That's why we're here. Could you show us which tag should we use for the date to populate? Yeah, of course. So the tags are on the left-hand side. Click on Tools, go to Tag Helper, and then I select Current User. Actually, no, it's Other, and it's right here, Current Date or Current Day, Current Month, Current Year. But yeah, you just copy the tag right here. So it's under Other if you use a Tag Helper, and this is a tag. Me too. My question is related if it's possible to custom questionnaires. Yeah, go ahead. Just send me your question. I don't see your name again, but go ahead. I wonder and put the name I-94, but where to get the template? What do you mean? I went there and put the I-94, but where to get the template? I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you can be more specific, because I probably cover something and it's already too late. If you're referring to the I-94 that shows here and the tickler, you said I put the name. Oh, the extractor. Yeah, for the extractor. Okay. Um, by the way, the I-94 information, if you guys are subscribed to e-filing, we have the option to export or import from the CBP website. Okay, so where to get the template? You just go to your tools and access the extractor. When you drag and drop the I-94, you just select that template name, and it's a matter of just mapping the fields so that it populates to the I-94. Okay, one more question. I couldn't find where I can customize the questionnaires into the admin. Okay, let me show you. If you go into the admin, it's right here, custom form templates, and then go here, intake forms. My suggestion is that you guys customize, not from scratch, even though you can, but use what's already created. Don't reinvent the wheel. So click on system intake forms. These are the ones that we have created so far. So you can just make a copy where it says select copy and then change the name. Maybe I want to call this initial intake for new leads. I'm going to modify the name. Welcome. I don't know. I'm just gonna, so yeah, you can just add questions on the left, remove questions on the right, and make sure that you map these fields and choose a translation. We have a video on this on how to create custom intake forms. And if I'm not mistaken, let me double check. I'm doing a training soon. Yeah, on September 5th. So if you're available and you want to join me, I'm going to show you all these steps and how to create your intake forms. All right, let's continue. What does case expiration date mean? Is it the deadline for filing an application, for example? You know what? I've talked to different attorneys about this. Sometimes they use the case expiration date because, like an H-1B, for example, it has a deadline and they need to renew or file an extension, something like that. Or they use it, like you said, we need to set this because we have to file before this expiration date. Whatever works for you, but as long as you use it, it's right there. Whenever you create a case, again, let me go back to any, like this EB3. You can even modify the name. Someone put test. I mean, this is customizable. But yeah, you can utilize this field to track an expiration date with whatever criteria you want to use it. If it's a deadline for filing, or again, an extension, or it's just, it varies. Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. All right, so let's continue. I want to talk about one of my favorite features, which is process steps. I feel like it's probably underutilized, and you don't really need to pay for a different system for managing your cases or clients. And eIMMIGRATION is not just for forms. So let's talk about how we can manage these deadlines or tasks. Someone messaged me about an issue with notices feature and tracking the NBC for the I-485. The reason why you don't see that, just so that you know, we mimic exactly what's on the USCIS website. And so if you don't see the form listed for NBC, it's because they're not handling the form there. Exactly the way that USCIS drop-down menus will show, that's what we mimic. But if you still want to talk to one of our reps, again, I encourage you to please contact our technical support team. Just send a message here, technical support, and someone will contact you. Okay, so let's continue. Process steps. Well, when you create a case or a matter, it's on the right-hand side. And these process steps are kind of like your to-do list or your timeline or your, workflow. I also call it the cheat sheet for new paralegals so they know exactly what they need to do. And so how do we create these tasks or steps? So whenever we initiate a case based on the type of matter or process type, then we know exactly what needs to be done. Well, again, if you go into the administrator portal under case processes, this is where you can add any type of matter just so you know, the system, again, is not just for U.S. immigration. You can use it for any other area of practice. And once you create or once you use what we have, you can modify them. You modify what the forms checklist looks like. Maybe you're preparing, you don't really need the G28. You can delete. Maybe you want the I-45 here after the 765. I don't know. So you can customize the forms checklist, the steps, which is what I'm going to show you right now, documents, questionnaires, every element. It's like yeah, I was gonna say like a combo, like a package. If I pick adjustment of status, then my team knows exactly what forms they need to complete and what to do. Okay, so for the steps you can add a process step, or better yet, insert between existing steps. You can modify the name and the time frame. In other words, what do we have to do? How many days do we have to complete it? And also the email notification. Do I need to send an email to myself or my staff if they forget to complete the task? That's what it means. And not only, it's just the description, and it's not just the days or the time frame, the email option, but it's also the option for you to automate things. It's called activities. The activities allows you to schedule an action in advance and automate it. For example, when it's time for me to send a questionnaire, I want the system to do that. Send a questionnaire on my behalf. When do you want this to be triggered? Well, how about when the process step starts, or a day before, a day after, or you can choose when you want this to be triggered and what action. It could be send a text message or send an email, add a note, add an expense. So again, you can automate things and save time by adding activities and set up, when you want this to be triggered. And then, of course, choose the criteria. What questionnaire do you want to send? What email template, etc. So these are the activities, and I recommend that you guys take advantage of that because it makes a lot, it's a lot different from doing things manually. I was finding a word I was trying to say. It's a lot more efficient. So let's go over the process steps. When you create a case and you click on process steps, instead of manually changing every process one by one, you can click here, modify. That way you can modify all the steps at the same time. In other words, you're setting up the time frame. Hey, how many days should take me to complete this task? I'm just adding, even if it's a 0, add a number here, because if you leave it blank, we can't auto-populate the target date. For example, we need to send the forms to the attorney for revision. We need to do that next week, and we have 5 days to do it. So our target date auto-populated as soon as I hit the number here. Let me do 1. So it's now due on the 26th. So based on this, we auto-populate your target date, and then you just have to select who's responsible for this task. If it's going to be Ray, my paralegal, Vanessa, or like I choose who's the caseworker in charge so that on August 30th, when we need to send the forms to the attorney for revision, if Vanessa's responsible and she hasn't completed this task, in other words, if you haven't checked the box or if you haven't entered the completed date or end date, it means that if this box is checked, where it says auto email, then Vanessa gets an email this day. If you guys don't select a caseworker and you leave it blank like this, select from below, it means that if this box is checked, all of these caseworkers get an email reminder. Okay? Again, when you mark the box, it's going to add the end date. And if this was overdue, let's say this was due, well, that's perfect. July 8th. Okay. If it's overdue, it looks red. That's how you know what was due, what task or what was the step, when was this due, and who was responsible to do it. All right, so these are the process steps. Now remember, when you create an activity, I already have one. I think I'm probably looking at a wrong case. Give me 1 second. Someone messaged me where to find the steps, the case processes on my side. It's all about case types, adjustment. Where are you? When you said the case processes on my side, what do you mean? Are you in the administrator portal? Because this is what you need to go to. Go to the admin, click on case processes, and then you're going to find the case type, and then you click on the circle that belongs to steps. So if you want to modify N400 steps, you just go there. I don't know if that's where you're at. I'm confused. All right, so let me take you back to an existing or like a more recent case. I know for a fact that I've got an activity created and I don't see it. Okay. All right, so I guess this is a good one. You can tell because if you go to select, it says 0 out of 2 completed. So I'm gonna check the box or, say that we have to start today. All right, so now let me refresh my screen. Unless, of course, my activity says a few days after. Yeah, that's probably why. Okay, so this one, it's already executed because it says when the case process step starts, send the questionnaire. All right, so that means that because I started this step and the activity was triggered, then that means that my client received a questionnaire. If I go to the contact profile under the document section, on the left-hand side, you should see the questionnaires and forms that have been shared or sent. So let's see. In the meantime, I'm reading your questions. Got it. Thank you. You're welcome. Will you be able to walk me through using AI feature? I'd like to see how we can upload a notice and have it automatically populate in the trackable notice feature. I probably won't have time because we're running out of time, but we do have, I'll point you to the right direction. We do have a video under the user's guide. If you click here and search extractor, this shows you what's going on. Give me 1 second. Let me just clear my. I don't know why that happens when. Okay, let me see if that works. User's guide. Extractor. Okay, yeah, so this is a video. You can watch the video. It's quick. It's a quick tutorial video that explains to you like how to use the extractor so that you can upload a document, extract data, and utilize it to populate information in forms or just reports. If you have any questions, you can also click here to send your questions to our technical support team. All right. I have one more item to cover, and I have to log in. All right. I don't know if you see this, but there's a red dancing bell on the left-hand side. And it's this pop-up window. I get a smart alert when someone owes me money and there's an overdue invoice, or this person has an adverse client member. And I chose to select those alerts by going here into the admin. If you click on under types, we have global client alert or global case alert. These alerts, you can customize them by adding here. It could be just a message like, hey guys, FY, I don't know, form blah, blah, has been updated. Do not use the old version, or whatever message you want to convey to your staff. You can add different like info, success, warning. If that's a basic alert, your staff members cannot delete this alert because you add this from You added this from the admin. They could always add their own alerts, but those are alerts that you can modify and delete. Now we have an advanced alert. That's the one that I created that says, hey, give me a warning if someone has overdue invoices. So invoices are overdue. That's an advanced alert. And show me like a warning or I don't maybe not danger, but like warning, and then save it. And the other alert that we have that's advanced could be if the client has any, adverse party, or there's a a former employer or employee rep, or I don't know. So you can choose any of these. It's usually for VAWA cases, like if you don't want to represent the abuser and there's a conflict of interest, you want to get a pop-up window that says, hey, this person has an adverse party member. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Now, let me take you back to the caseworker portal. If I was your receptionist or front desk and I don't know about this person and they call for whatever questions, I get the alert. So I can see that they have overdue invoices. I cannot delete, see, but I could add another alert. Maybe just success. I don't know. I'll put something like client brought check today. Something that allows my staff member to know, hey, whenever they go to this client's profile, they get my message like a pop-up window. This is the one that you can modify, or this is the one that you can also delete by clicking here. So you can delete an alert. It's always going to ask you, are you sure? All right, so those are the smart alerts. Let me see if you guys have other questions. You're welcome. Okay, so one more question. It says a username and password used in the software trial automatically appear every time when I log into the immigration. Okay, that's your browser. You need to clear. If you go to the top right corner, you have these three dots and go to your passwords. Anything that you have bookmarked or it's right here. I'm using Chrome. I'm not sure if you're using Edge or Safari or what browser you're using, but if you're using Chrome, go to your passwords and autofill, and that's why you're seeing them because it's supposed to save you time, but you don't want to waste time by having to delete the old password for the testing site. So yeah, just go to your settings for your browser window and delete those old passwords. How to make the steps appear in a case. Thanks. Okay. When you create the case, actually, let me start from scratch. I'm going to go to the contact profile and create a new case. Okay. So you click create case. You're going to choose your department, the type of matter. See, when you pick the type of process, it's already customized because in the administrator portal, that case process that you have here listed has those steps. So if you have the steps here, they will show up. If you don't, then they won't. So I'm going to pick whatever options I need to select. This is just optional where you can set some required fields. My information will transfer to forms. I'm choosing the role, petitioner, alien, next. I've got again, these are optional. You've got conditional rules like if this, then this, and then the forms. All right, so far, so good. This is how you create a case. Once you create the case or the process, go to the right-hand side and click on process steps. That's where you see the process steps. And then this is where you modify them. You can, okay, so this is what we need to do. Again, even if you're a solo practitioner, this is my to-do list. When am I starting? Well, let's say today, I've got 1 day to complete it, or 5 days, like you can change the time frame. As long as you have the start date and the number here, even if it's a 0, it will auto-populate your target date. And it doesn't matter if you pick a caseworker or not. If this box is checked, you will get an email to remind you. Okay. And then save your changes. One more thing, if you guys want to share, the progress with your clients, let me go back to that other case since I already have process steps with more data. Okay. So this case, I've got 12% done. Okay, let's say maybe more than 12%. We've done all these. And okay, so 27%. See, if you click share, you can choose who to share with, and it's right here. All checked entities listed below will have access to the entirety of this process steps. So they see the progress, but they don't see the dates. This is how it looks like on their end if they log in as clients. She's going to access her client portal, and she's going to see the status on her home screen. So hopefully this reduces the phone calls or emails that you guys get when what's going on with my case, any updates. Well, let them know, hey, if you log in into your client portal and click on status, you can see what's been done and that we're working on creating your payment plan. So, I mean, this might work, but just keep in mind that they see the entire list. They don't see the due dates or the start dates or target dates, but at least they see. Okay. So we're running out of time, but I have more questions to answer. Give me 1 second. Yeah, of course. If you don't choose a case process step, I mean, if you don't choose a case process type, then there's no steps that we can pull from. Yeah. So you have to choose a process step. It's like, again, choosing a matter type. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me go back. See, if I choose the type of matter or the type of service, again, it doesn't have to be a U.S. immigration only. You guys can use it for any other areas of practice. We have clients that uses for divorce cases, notary services, personal injury. So it could be for any type of service. And then you can still use a timeline or process steps to manage your tasks. But you have to choose a process. If you leave this blank, then the system doesn't know, what steps or what documents do you need regarding this service. So then, yeah, you have to choose a process type. All right, so you will have questions as normal, but we're happy to help. These are the resources and support options that you guys have. Give us a call. We're in Los Angeles. You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time. That's our phone number, except on holidays. I think the next one is on Labor Day, right? Except on holidays. So you could email us 24/7. That's our email address. And we also have that option on your home screen where it says technical support. In fact, you can also send your feedback to developers, something you like or dislike. I always encourage clients to do that because we do take that feedback into consideration. We have a user's guide available. As I said, you can just type the word extractor, watch the video, or follow the instructions step by step. We do these webinars for free. They're live on Fridays at 10 a.m. except on holidays, unless there's a holiday. We also have a Facebook forum page you can join. I put the link right there. You just have to request for them to accept you, and I think that's a great opportunity for you to, uh, you know, see what other attorneys are asking, and then just interact. And then lastly, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called eIMMIGRATION Academy, and it looks like this. So all of these videos that we record when we do the webinars, or whenever there's a new feature like WhatsApp, we have new feature like AI reports. As you can see, we upload the tutorial videos here, and this is your library where you can find, videos that are related to the topic. Someone was asking today about custom intake forms. We have videos because we've done webinars about that. You can always watch previous webinars. Okay. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I hope that you guys learned something new today. I'm going to ask one more question before you go. And maybe you don't know this, but if you have a colleague or a friend who is still struggling, completing forms manually, if you refer them to us and they sign up, you both get an incentive. It's a $50 gift card and a $50 credit to their first invoice. So if you like eIMMIGRATION and you want to help a colleague, let them know so that you both get the incentive. And one more question. I just want to know if, uh, where did it go? Yeah, I want to know if your questions were addressed today. Awesome. Thank you so much. So you're welcome. Someone said thank you for hosting this. We have these every Friday, and I love it because you guys can ask any questions like your private training. Where's the Facebook forum page? I put the link right here. Just go to facebook.com/groups/Serenade Forum so that you can join and just request for them to approve you. But yep, we have that so that you can see what other attorneys are asking, and it's a great way to interact with other paralegals or preparers. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a great weekend. I'll stay around if you have any other questions, and don't forget to complete the survey once you get the email. Goodbye. All right, so the questions that I'm getting are more related to technical support. As a reminder, if you guys have questions that need assistance, just give us a call. This is our phone number, 1-800-617-4202, or send us a message to ecmssupport@serenade.com, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.